configuration independent of all the rest, and that will work. So basically, if some tenant wants it lower, they can go and set a different schedule for themselves. The other thing you can do is you can give tenants access to a portal. We will let you create a tenant user and they can control only their unit. That's also available to them. And finally, we have an Alexa skill that they can use to sort of voice control their thermostats using their phones or Alexa devices as well. So tenants have a lot of control over what they need to do.
Right.
So I think I don't know if you answered this, but I think like if the tenant changes the temperature, like let's say he tries to, if it's in the middle of the day or whatever, and it's set to 74, and he comes in and sets it at 70, he can do that. But you said that at the next time when it comes back up, it'll reset back to the schedule.
That's right. Correct.
Yeah.
In fact, you can sort of see that in action here, where the dotted line here is showing you the tenant set point, and tenants do occasionally go and they set it lower, and then it will normally just come back at the appropriate time. So for example, here the tenant set it to 63, and at the next scheduled interval it came back to the regular temperature.
Right, and the other thing is, at least for me, the very useful feature was that in the units where the AC is not working good, the difference between set point and the temperature in the unit is larger compared to the other units. So I would know that there's a bad AC unit far before it goes bad. And that's what the analytics that Badri was showing is summarizing. But so there are two aspects of it that was very useful in my properties, which was, one is being able to control the temperature. But for me, it's not all bills paid, so it's less of a concern. But the most useful thing for me is all this analytics. I know if something is going wrong, I would know in advance. I don't have to wait on a hard day to send a technician to do an emergency repair.
I still not follow this chart here.
Okay.
I mean, each circle is a unit, right?
Each circle
and on the y-axis is a temperature.
Yes.
Right? And yes. On the x-axis is the load, right? When you say temperature for that particular unit, are you talking about, is it instantaneous, a snapshot?
No, it's the average over this time. It is the average of...
So it's an average?
Yes.
So that's average 24 hours, right?
Average for 5 days. 5 days, yeah.
For 5 days.
Yeah.
So, okay, so during the 5 days, right, let's say take the first one, right, the 76. 76, yeah. When you look at it, right? So this unit 102, right?
Yeah.
So the average is 75.68 for during the 5 days period.
Correct.
Okay, so what does it tell me compared to the others?
So it tells you that first of all, it was the when you compare it, for example, the unit 107, which was much cooler.
Right.
It tells you that this was at an average temperature of about 76, which is kind of reasonably comfortable as compared to, for example, this 77, and some of them are some other times are even higher than this. You know that tenants are uncomfortable there. They may complain to you or they may not, but you want to sort of worry about why are temperatures this high. And in fact, sort of anecdotally, the story here of this complex is that, in fact, the owner of the complex had lots of churn last year because tenants repeatedly complained about their temperatures being too high. And now you can tell, you have the data concretely to say, okay, this is what is happening in these units. And if the average temperatures are too high, you would sort of worry about it and go try to fix it. I mean, in fact, based on this chart, there is some active work happening to improve the performance of these of this unit. Let me, just by way of example, let me go and show you something else that is working better.
So can I explain it a different way if you go back to that chart?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the chart. Just one second.
So what is the load? What does it matter, right? When it's active, the low percentage of load? What does it tell us?
The load is how hard the AC has to work.
Yes.
So, so like let's say that one that you were talking about, that 76. Well, it maintained a temperature of 76, but the unit never came on.
So it's almost like you have insulations or the ductwork, whatever that is, right?
Or they have a unit. They have an additional window unit.
So a high percentage of low, right? That means this is only for AC, I guess, right? For cooling, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? So this is only for AC. So a high percentage of load, that means it's not that efficient.
That means it's running all the time. So the ones that are 100% is running 100% of the time, and it's maintaining 76% or 76 degrees. I mean.
So, for example, right, the first one, zero load, 76%. That means they don't even run the AC unit. Then you achieve an average of 76%.
Correct. Exactly.
76 degrees.
76.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And that's in fact precisely the
other one. It's like running on the right hand side, right? Some of them are closer, like 90 or 100%. You're running it all the time.
Yes.
And I assume that this is the same period, same external temperature.
Correct.
Right? It shouldn't happen. So that means that AC unit is not efficient or needs to change.
Correct.
Okay. I got it. Thank you.
Right. In fact, maybe, but one thing is that weather has been relatively milder last 5 days. So maybe we can go back to sometime in January or February.
Sure.
No, I to know the efficiency of a unit. The weather has been relatively mild last 5 days, right? So it's not a good time for us to really measure the efficiency. But if you go to a time when it is cold or when it is hot, so let's say we go back to February and look at it.
Right. I mean, it would be good to just focus on one unit, right? During a period of time, see how they run it, the temperature and everything. One unit at a time, not having a graphic of all the units.
Yeah. So we can look at this unit. This is unit number 205. And let me turn on the ambient temperature here. And so this has been sort of the ambient temperature. And as you can see, the unit, first of all, it traps heat. So the actual temperature does stay above the ambient temperature at many times. But it sort of roughly tracks it. And what you can see is that here, as Chaitanya was saying, over the last few days, the temperature has been relatively mild. But today, for example, okay, the ambient temperature rose up and the unit is sort of trying to cool it. The tenant has set it to 63 degrees, but the unit is not actually able to cool it.
The red line versus the blue line again?
The red line is the ambient temperature. The blue and gray line is the actual temperature. So the reason that it varies in color is that the blue is when it is sort of actively cooling, and gray is when the thermostat is sort of off. The fan is off. It's not actually running.
And dotted line is a set point.
The dotted line is the set point.
But you mentioned something like, because to me, when I look at this, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. But you said you would send reports with what we need to focus on, or like what you see.
Right.
Like who's doing that? Who's doing this analysis? Is it you two, or do you have AI, or like?
We have algorithms doing it, and we send out the report. So let me just sort of it's all automated. So let me show a report, for example. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so you should see my screen now. And this would be a sort of report that you'd get. You'd basically have to only worry about the action highlights And we sort of put in a doc and send it to you, but this report sort of, we get it automatically. The action highlights, the AI generates on a set interval. Basically, it'll say essentially which are the units to look at, which are of high importance, and we sort of add some English to it and sort of make it more readable and send it out. So we sort of point out which are the units that you need to worry about specifically. But in this particular case, since many of the units have the same problem as to the fact that they're trapping heat and they're not actually cooling effectively, there is not specific units we are calling out, but normally we would call out like specific units, saying go look at XYZ units. So let me open up another report and you can see it. Okay, all right.
I mean, it's good that you basically trap all those data, track it, right?
Right.
But from the operational perspective, who would be actually, are we basically running those quote-unquote analysis?
Yeah.
Right? Analyzing the data once a week, or what, and who actually do that?
Like I said, we will send you these reports, but this portal is available to you 24/7. If you
So basically, we are the asset manager. We become actually managed. We also take on a management role in terms of property management role to tell, hey, the maintenance, hey, this unit, these 5 units has some problem. You guys fix it. So they wouldn't spend the time in actually analyzing. Am I correct?
They wouldn't. We would. We would send you this report and then you can go verify it yourself if you choose to. Or you can just take our word for it. So basically, a normal report would be sort of very, very targeted. So we would say, effectively, units 130, 137, 156 have external cooling. So go do something about it. Unit 141 and 154 have very low average temperature. Go do something about it. And 120, 58 and 27, 257 do not seem to have their AC working. Go look at that.
So this report is from you, or?
This is from us.
You do the analysis, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is from us to the property manager. So.
Okay. And how frequent do you generate this? Once a week?
We generate it roughly once a week, yeah. So in the beginning, it will be once a week. Hopefully, if you are fixing problems as you go along, the report should basically contain nothing interesting, right? They should say, hey, everything looks good because you fixed the problems. But if not, you'll just get periodic reports saying, hey, this does not look right.
Okay. Got it. So this is really just to show a kind of like how efficient they are, and for example, right, if the tenant, you can set the boundary, the upper and lower limit, right? The tenant, they can still change it, but whatever they change, it will go back to the cycle. Let's say next day, right? They go back to the same cycle again.
Correct.
Yeah. And you decide what you want to go back to. If you want to save more energy, you can set it aggressively.
Right. Do you have any data to show, let's say, your management side of it, right? This is all good, right? But if you're looking at some real data from the apartment that use these intelligent, devices, what are the savings that you see? Is it more preventive? Or more kind of like, I don't know, what's the real benefits?
Yeah, have you quantified like the savings like at a complex yet?
Yeah, we have. So effectively, the normally you would sort of we measure savings by how many times we are pulling back the temperature on units. That's sort of like the most effective way of saying what the savings are. So effectively, that number we do share in some of these reports where we'd say on an average for about 60% of the units, we are pulling the temperature back during the daytime. So that's the dominant part of the savings, right? Most of it you get from the fact that during the day when people are gone, you're setting these temperature values higher. So We don't get utility bills, so we can't tell you exactly how much the saving is, but we can tell you sort of how often we pull the temperature back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I can understand that, for people, for the tenant, right? They set it at low temperature. Let's say I want to lower that to 68 degrees,
Right.
and they don't bother to change it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right. That I can see the savings there. When they come back, of course, right, they want to have the best comfort they can. So it doesn't matter what you said, they're still going to fight with you every day. So basically,
Well, and I see the savings like in vacant units. Remember, when we visited the
Right.
apartments,
That's
and vacant units were always on, and
yeah, we noticed that.
and then
Right.
probably the savings also would be in units that are always where the AC is always on, so 100% load, but it's not working. That's electricity going down the drain.
That's good.
So once action's taken, those units should start working more efficiently and save energy.
The dominant savings we see actually is in the peak consumption. Effectively, any apartment complex normally gets billed separately for the peak usage of energy throughout the year. And in fact, the biggest savings you're going to get is from the fact that since we are pulling back the temperature during the day, that's when energy consumption is peak, right? Because everything is cooling all the time to try to frantically stay at a low temperature. That gives you significant dollar savings. Now, there are other savings, as you mentioned, you get savings from just like behavioral changes. That is normally estimated to be somewhere between 10 and 20% of the energy bill, right? I mean, that's what it's estimated in single family homes. But in multifamily, it might be a little higher because you get billed separately for peak, and we do reduce the peak consumption significantly.
And guys, we have about 8 minutes left on the call
Okay.
Why? Okay. All right.
because Zoom does it at 40 minutes.
Okay.
okay. Okay.
I mean, how much do we need to talk, and we haven't talked about pricing and anything. So Angel, maybe we need another session.
Maybe we talked a little bit about pricing yesterday because I asked them the same question.
Okay.
And maybe I'll let you guys repeat, what you told me. Because
Yeah.
for like Waco, we have 152 units down there.
Right. So basically, we charge you only for the thermostats, and effectively for the first year, you don't have to explicitly pay us for the analytic services. It comes to $100 per unit, not including installation. And we don't charge you for the hubs or anything because that we get to amortize the cost over multiple different units. Included in this is a cellular connection which we will provide. You don't have to provide connectivity to our hubs. And so basically our hubs will come in with a built-in cellular dongle, and we will pay the cellular bill ourselves. So you pay $100, then for the entire first year you're covered for the thermostats, the hubs, the cellular connection, and the cellular connectivity charges.
So $100 per unit, that's including all the installation and the analytical.
Installation we do not include. Installation, we can train your property management staff to do it, but if you don't want to do it, it costs you about $25 per unit extra.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like an easy install. It's just thermostats.
It's a regular 5-watt thermostat, so that's what most of our other owners do. They just give it to the maintenance guy and he will install. So
Right. What kind of thermostat is that? Can you show it to us, or?
let me see. It is there in the slide, right?
Is this one, Chaitanya?
That's slide 6.
Slide 6, okay. Do you see it?
Did you?
No, it's still on.
Oh, I'm sorry. My screen sharing is paused. Yeah, okay. All right. There you go. You see it?
So the one at the bottom.
The one in the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what brand is that?
This is a radio thermostat.
A what?
Radio?
Radio thermostat. This is mostly used in the commercial space, like McDonald's or Taco Bell. Or,
The radio thermostat.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the users, they can, I mean, the tenant just basically, they can turn up and turn down the thermostat. There's no programming activity. Is that a program?
They don't have to do programming, but they could, if you want to let tenants program their thermostats, they will enable you to do it. Basically, they will have access to that same portal we were showing you, and we will make a training video that tells them, okay, hey, if you want to change it, just go change it to this.
If they want.
This would be a value add if we wanted to charge them more to have smart home.
I think the most effective thing is to maybe allow us to basically look at the site, your installations, right? Look at how it's actually being done. You know, you have this installed, right, in your apartments.
Yes.
So we can just, if you don't mind us to actually pay a visit on that. See how
Sure. I mean, and it's easy since we will probably want to look at an apartment complex, and mine is mostly duplexes. We
Right.
can get the permission of one of the owners and take you around.
Right. I don't know how it works in a kind of like a chiller type of, you know, everyone basically connect to the same central systems. So, it's, you know, for Richard's claim is okay, right? I mean, design the visual AC that they can control the temperature, but I don't know how effective that is. Or like the chiller, like sky landing, Angel.
Yeah, they talk about. We might need a another Zoom call because they did talk about this. They said it's most effective at Richland, but they can still do something for like Sky Landing.
Okay.
Should we do another call?
Yeah.
Should I send you guys another code?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna hang this up.
Okay.